Welcome to Mess with Mormons. Thank you guys for joining us. It's episode 206, I think. Ches? Wait, 205. All right. I can't remember. I think we are just a couple weeks away from recording for 4 years now. So, yeah. Tune in. I'm sure we're going to have something crazy going on for our 4-year anniversary. But anyway, I'm CD, and I'm joined by my boys as usual. What's up, Ches? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself there?
Win Wade.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. And we have a special guest in the studio this evening. We're usually recording on Sunday afternoons, but it was the Super Bowl this week. And so this evening we are joined by Monique Dacumos. How are you?
Oh, hey, I'm so good. A little bit tired. Took a while.
Yeah, that's my bad. I'll blame it. I can blame myself for that.
Yeah,
totally
technical
fine.
difficulties, but that can happen when you've had a few cocktails and whatever. But yeah, anyway, it's been an eventful week, I guess. There's lots to talk about, and I feel like we've been kind of jamming out for the last 2.5 hours and talking about all sorts of things.
Get ready to go again.
Everything from like breakfast cereal to politics. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Monique, thank you very much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for making me come.
We didn't make you come.
On
the show, yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Here we go.
And really quick, next Sunday, so the next episode you be listening to will be our 4th birthday.
Oh.
Shit.
I guess we have to go to the liquor store.
Congratulations
Yes.
early then.
Thank you. 4 years. Wow.
Yeah, it'll be 4 years on the 18th.
Longest relationship ever held in this group?
Yep.
Love
No,
it.
I had
Longest relationship I've ever had is with you guys. So yeah.
It's
I had
fantastic.
6 years under my belt at one point, but that was
This episode is coming out Wednesday, February 16th, but we want to let you guys know real quick. Yesterday, February 15th, we had the honor of coming on to a podcast called the American Forked Podcast. And if you guys don't recall, or if you're a new listener, they have been on our show before. And we hope you guys take a little time out of your day to check them out. It's American Forked. It's basically anywhere you can find podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple, whatever. I said the G word. Now my phone is going, hello. Anyway, we hope you check that episode out because it was really fun to go on someone else's show and see other people's setups and see what they want to talk about. And hopefully we didn't make too big of an ass out of ourselves. And by that, I mean me.
You guys should go listen to it. It's actually pretty funny. CD was like constantly 2 minutes behind any conversation we were having.
Yeah.
For some reason, we're like talking about one thing. You're like, "Oh, have you guys heard about this?" We're like, "CD's joined the conversation." Not everything, but I
Kombucha.
I party harded a little hard on Friday, and we recorded on Saturday morning at like 10 o'clock sharp, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm still feeling a little brain fry.
I'm just happy after the show I got to feed goats.
I love goats.
Me too.
Yeah.
I want a baby goat.
You have to have 2.
I want too many goats and one to knock one over.
I want to.
You want the fainting goats?
I do.
I want to do
love them.
goat yoga.
I don't want to do that ever.
Yeah, I just want to feed goats.
I just want to watch them and feed them,
Yeah.
and like watch them like be stupid.
Watch them
and
get the
crazy.
zoomies and
Yeah.
jump all over shit.
And also like get a hardwood floor so I can just hear them prance across it for a minute. That's what I want.
All right, I'd agree with that. Goats are awesome.
Yeah, but not for yoga.
Not for yoga. I remember telling Kurt he went with us to the podcast, and I'm like, Kurt, you need to feed the goats. He's like, why? I'm like, trust me, man. It'll just make you smile. And then when the little goat, the skittish goat, comes up, he goes, you're like, oh my God, I want to die.
That being aside, it was a fun episode to just kind of see how they do things and what they like to talk about. I'm not just saying this. Their podcast, I really highly recommend it. It is a fun, entertaining podcast to listen to, and their kind of premise is similar to what we do. They're a group of friends that obviously they're friends for a reason, but they don't always see eye to eye on certain things. And I think we see eye to eye on a lot of things, but we also kind of fuck with each other a lot.
They got a really good dynamic, dude. Their group that they have like every type of person that you want in one room discussing things that need to be discussed.
Yeah.
They've just got that good dynamic going for them. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah. And they also, you can say kind of whatever you want, kind of like what we do here. And that's why I'm happy you're here, Monique, because you do not shy away from anything. Here we are. Wade's saying that we're glad that you came or you come or.
I said we didn't make her come here.
Yeah.
I corrected it. Thank you. And no, I am not afraid to say what it is. But hey, I am happy to be here. And I feel like you guys have the same dynamic.
Yeah, we do. I mean, kind of. CD sometimes talks about seasoning packets and stuff like randomly, but we work with what we
What
got.
are you talking about?
Come on, it was a half a seasoning packet.
Half a seasoning packet. Thank you.
Yeah, bad recipes. I'm not talking about seasoning packets.
And cilantro.
Yeah.
Got it.
Let's not get into that yet.
Let's not
Right.
get into it ever.
You like to cook and all that, but we can get in that later. What I wanted to talk about is something that just recently happened. Is we just are out of the Super Bowl, and I think not everyone's favorite teams made it to the Super Bowl, and not everyone is a sports fan. You know, the Rams and the Bengals.
That's not our favorite team.
Well, not everybody.
I don't trust any team from LA.
And it was kind of weird because LA was in the Super Bowl, but is also in LA. So
Yeah, that was a crazy coincidence. So they
Isn't
had home
that
court.
where it like originated?
the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
No, yes,
Was it
the
not-
first Super Bowl was in LA in the
right?
Coliseum.
That's what I thought.
What?
That's why we
Yeah.
pay you the big bucks, bro.
I thought it was in Green
I'm
Bay.
sorry, I'm the one who said
Well, Green
no,
Bay played in it.
Green.
Okay.
I said it first, and thank you because I do know, and Green Bay is my team, and I love
Green Bay.
them. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, and I
Me
own
too.
shares of Green Bay.
You own so you bought the shares?
I did.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So go on, CD. With
So
your
wait, do
question.
you get to go to board members
I actually
meetings
can
and
buy
stuff?
tickets myself
Oh wow, that's awesome.
and go to Lambeau Stadium.
I think even no matter who was going to make it to the Super Bowl this year, I think a lot of us expected it was going to be one of the teams, you know, like Tom Brady team or the Patriots or Green Bay. But a couple unexpected teams made it this year. But the one thing for me personally that I felt very excited to find out was that we're not going to have fucking Katy Perry or Bruno Mars or I like The Weeknd, but we're not going to have one of these super pop candy bubblegum type halftime shows. We got the original OGs.
I don't like LA teams, but if I grew up in LA and listened to that music, that would be the ultimate halftime show to see as a
best.
person who lives in LA.
But also, there was like one oddball out there, I felt.
Okay.
Who?
I think there was two. Who is your oddball?
He was so odd that I don't even really know his name.
Oh,
Eminem.
No,
no.
I'm sorry, what?
Jeez,
I would say-
come on.
Wait, yeah, what the fuck?
Well, he's from Detroit.
I'm sorry,
He's
but
not an oddball, bro.
he's not an oddball.
Well,
he's a
no, I was thinking
freaking classic.
Well,
Are
no,
you
I was
kidding
thinking oddball since he's not from that area.
No, I'm thinking oddball, but who's not from that era.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
Thank
Kendrick
you.
Lamar.
Of
Like,
course.
what the hell was he doing on there?
So there's a theory behind that, and that's that Snoop Dogg just recently bought Death Row Records, and I think Kendrick
did.
is signed to Death Row. So that was kind of like
Still stupid.
I think he is, right? Is Kendrick signed to?
He is signed to death row,
Yeah.
but still dumb because he's not in that. No, you do not get to be up there with those iconics and be like, hey, also, I'm also really short and I don't know what I'm saying, and neither do you. And here you go. Like, no, I'm sorry. But great freaking show. Wish it had a little more to it. And also the people that were behind him kind of got screwed.
Yeah, I think that's the away side of the stand.
What
But
do you
I
mean?
was also like expecting to like have some like lowriders that were like bumping up and down and stuff too.
There were lowriders on
but
there.
Yeah,
they
but
were
the-
not.
They weren't popping.
moving.
All right, I hear you.
But I mean, it was great.
I think people underestimate. I didn't know about Kendrick Lamar until 3-4 years ago.
He's a good rapper.
He's got some good fucking music.
good,
I
but
think.
he hasn't earned his way yet.
I think. Yeah, I beg to differ.
You do?
Oh yeah, I
So
think.
he's like an Eminem.
I think he's. Yeah.
I
maybe-
couldn't understand a word he said.
I thought 50 Cent was kind of out there too. I was like, when 50 Cent came out, I'm like, oh shit. Like,
That's what I thought
he
was the
hasn't put out
oddball.
albums really, at least that I've
Oh, he's
heard.
producing.
So he's just a producer now.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what most of them do.
Dude,
Okay.
upside down 50 Cent. I
Was
think
my favorite thing.
No, it was the most awkward part of
I
the
loved
show.
I didn't see that I was showering at that time.
He
When they
I literally
introduced
came
him-
out when Mary J. Blige was on.
Monique,
good
this is
part to
what
come out.
DVRs are for. You go back and rewind it and watch it. I watched it like 3 or 4 times.
How have there-
DVRs?
How have there not been upside down
The
50 Cent
stream.
memes?
There
oh,
are.
dude, there,
Are there?
there's
There
a,
are, yeah.
Oh, they're all
It
over,
says when
bro.
I'm reaching for a tissue after I came, and he's like literally trying not to get it on me. There's memes already
I
on
gotta
there.
look those up.
Yeah, look it up. They're
I guess
on there.
I didn't realize how big and swole 50 Cent has gotten. So I'm like, this motherfucker's going to fall out of the ceiling. Like, he's going to pull down the shingles.
Did you realize he didn't have his safety harness on, and he literally just put himself up there by his legs? So he's
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
see, like, his veins popping out of his eyes and stuff. Like, he was straining, like he was losing oxygen to his brain. You know, there was too much blood rushing to his head.
He was missing his vest.
Well,
He
he
was.
didn't, yeah. But he had his, he had his fucking wife beater on, so
I mean, I'm not mad about it.
I wasn't too mad about it either. I just was like, oh, shit, this motherfucker needs to drink some more vitamin water.
I hated all the commercials.
Hey, I don't think
Yeah.
I found one. The running joke, I was over at Kurt's house for Super Bowl, and the running joke is that they have these commercials that have like nothing to do with the product they're selling, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, get insurance. You know, you're like, why did you have to tell me it's like a 60-second story about somebody that you sponsored in the Olympics, and then you tell me to get insurance? Like, I don't even know what you're selling yet until the last.
I didn't know
very
what
second.
the little scan code one was for.
Oh, it was for Coinbase. And if you scan the code, I think you just got entered to win like $3 million in cryptocurrency or something.
That would have been good to know.
I was ahead of the game on that one. I told these guys to do it, so we all got in on it.
Well, that's great. Did you win?
No, it's not till March.
Oh, but
Yeah.
they didn't tell any. They're like, hey, here's this little
Do you think
box.
this motherfucker wouldn't have paid for drinks if he won the $3 million? Come on, man.
Yeah, you're right. If I had $3 million, you guys would have ate and drank for free tonight.
Yeah.
And we'd still be doing this right now
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
because this is for fun.
yeah.
We probably might be in a whole better studio.
No, but this
No.
is perfect.
Or the studio would be a little better.
This is where the best artists start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually like it.
Fucking foam falling off the wall that we've been
Yeah.
trying to place for 6 months.
So another thing with the halftime show, which I think was, at least for me, was the biggest part of, it's cool watching football. I'm a big football fan, but there was a lot of controversy from Eminem kneeling and everything. That's what I loved about the halftime show and about everything.
Wait, what's the controversy?
Exactly. What is the conversation? What I loved about the halftime show is there was no political agenda behind it. There wasn't anyone like holding, signs or there wasn't anything that had to do with anything political or. And so what?
It's Black History Month, so there is a little bit in there.
Well, the Super Bowl is always on Black History Month.
Yeah, but I think they actually wanted to do it more because of all of the Black Lives Matter and all the things that led up to everything. And I think they just had these artists that were super Black Lives Matter, which is great. And I love that. But I feel like it was a little bit drive to that. I don't think it was political in a sense, but anyway, go on.
I think that would have been a missed opportunity for last year's
Last
Super Bowl
year's,
because
no one was there.
well, right, but this year basically Black Lives Matter, it's come out that they're being put on blast right now because they've had like tens of millions of dollars that have shown up missing. So people are trying to figure out where did all this money that was raised for Black Lives Matter. Plus Eminem is up there. Like,
I mean, everybody's black in
I
their
don't-
soul sometimes.
yeah,
So.
and not to get like too crazy about it, but I don't know if I've ever heard Dr. Dre or Snoop Dogg, be like super crazy about
No.
Black Lives Matter.
They literally just did the show, and the best part.
They
what-
performed their best music and they put out a good show.
They
and-
did.
yeah.
What we should be talking
I
about
loved
is how
it.
awesome it was that they made Dr. Dre pretend to use a soundboard for half the show.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it was amazing. And at first I was like, wait, is that him? Because he kind of put on some weight. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it is him.
Yeah, he's
And I was telling my son, I'm like, that's Dr. Dre. He's like, who is he? I'm like, he's amazing,
Mm-hmm.
is who he is. And also, then he went and did the piano,
Yeah,
Which
that
was
was
a
sick.
which
Tupac
was
song.
sick.
That was sick.
And then grabbed the mic and I was like, okay, this is legit. Like, I am like taken back to childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so good. So yeah, there are so many good things about it. And did I watch the game? No, I literally was playing games on my phone while the game was on. And then the commercial would come on. I was like just hoping for something good. The sloth one was probably the best with the Doritos. But
You're not wrong. And I was like, you know how many people probably didn't get the joke that sloths don't move that fast?
No.
Because
it was amazing.
Yeah, it was a good commercial.
That one commercial and the halftime show were really awesome. Because if they weren't awesome, it wouldn't be all over social media about how awesome it was.
Yeah, everyone wanted to complain about Janet Jackson titty popping
Yeah.
out, or Maroon 5, how he took his shirt off and had
Yeah.
his California tattoo, or people wanted to talk about how Beyonce was lip syncing. And
Now we get
it's-
Mary J. Blige just falling down and spreading it out.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
It was so like
And I also heard and saw that. So these guys, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you can look this up, Ches, but I'm pretty sure no artists for the Super Bowl, they don't get paid.
They do not get paid.
they do not.
And as from what I read, Dr. Dre put out $7 million of his own money just to have that show. Just to, I mean,
I can see that.
I think they do charitable events and they do put out their own money, but and a lot of the artists don't. And it's great. Yeah, they don't get paid, but they're getting recognition.
And then they've said that, those artists that who do the halftime show, like right after they do it, their sales go through the roof.
Yeah, they get sponsored. Everything goes up, so they don't need to get paid because they're going to get paid regardless. But it's entertaining, and that's what the world likes is entertainment.
yeah.
And
That's
let's
what
be
sports
honest,
are.
If you're getting asked to do the Super Bowl halftime show, like you probably don't need the money.
No,
really.
you're like, no, I'm
You're
sorry,
probably
I'm
good.
busy that weekend.
Yeah. If you get asked to do the Super Bowl, you're like, yep, doing it.
Shit, if I get
Who's
asked to
going
do the
with
Super
me?
Bowl, halftime show. You
There'd
don't want
just
to
be
pay
a,
me? Okay, I'll go do it.
yeah, there'd just be a big
I don't
giant
think they're
bowl
gonna
of
ask
chips and
any of us.
salsa on the
You
50-yard
can
line.
always wish.
Just move this table out to the 50-yard line and we just all sit here and do
I'd
this.
be like,
for-
hey, guess what? I don't even need you to pay me afterwards.
Yep.
I'll do it right now.
We might need 30 minutes for the computer to warm up, but
Waste the whole thing waiting for the computer. I swear we're about to get started. That would be the ultimate joke.
We're at 99%.
Yeah, we're still getting there.
It's just Ches doing the backstroke through a giant pool of queso dip.
You know what? But how cool would it be to have
be
like
cool.
non-celebrities do something for the halftime?
and that's how it used to be.
Yeah, years and years ago. But like, it would be awesome to just bring back like something that was just normal that made us not feel so low.
We're
Yeah.
having the Rancho Cucamonga High School band
Yeah.
perform.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It would be cool to just bring back something that was old school and not have. I mean, we love the celebrities, like, and people are some people are uber obsessed with celebrities. I am not one of them. I don't know who they are dating. I don't know who they're married to. I don't know half of their names most of the time. But to do something like maybe just let the kids perform. Like, when Michael Jackson did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't do all of it.
There
There
was
was
an-
a lot of kids that did it, and that was really cool. I mean, obviously it's Michael Jackson, and he still had a lot of fame and recognition, but he let the kids do a lot, and so those moments I think are super great.
There was an interesting doc that I saw about how they did that performance, and they have a guy that was not able. He was told not to cue the music until Michael Jackson did like his like fucking
Yeah.
Crotch grab.
his
Crotch
crotch, his crotch.
You can't just
thrust or whatever.
do the motions. Nobody else can see you.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to come up with the right words.
You're
Thank you
trying to
guys,
stay
because you
clean.
saw what I was doing. But
He was grabbing his dick.
yeah,
Everybody listening.
but they said that he seriously just waited there and waited. There's just like this, like you can hear the tension growing through the air. Then all of a sudden, it was, we missed those Super Bowl moments, and I think that that's something that we've kind of lost in the last few years.
For sure.
Because I hate to say it, we all love Super Bowl and the halftime shows, but I think it's like really geared towards the guys and sports and whatever. But this really is like a family affair. It's an entertainment part of the world. There's like hundreds of millions of people that watch this around the world or something. Anyway.
Did it move you? Did you feel moved after the Super Bowl?
Yeah, dude, I had to bust a couple tears, bro.
Yeah, the reason why we didn't record on Sunday is because CD specifically told me the Super Bowl is my favorite fucking holiday. We're not doing anything on Sunday.
And did you see that there's talk about making the day after the Super Bowl an actual holiday, just so people don't have to go to work?
Or moving it
Never
to
gonna
Saturday.
happen. Never gonna happen.
No, seriously. I mean,
never gonna happen.
it's probably not going to happen, of course, but
First world problems.
Yeah.
yeah, you're probably right. First world
How
problems.
about if you don't want to go to work the day after the Super Bowl, then don't get so fucked up.
Or just take a fucking PTO day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, I know quite a few people that took PTO
Yeah.
PTO days. So,
I did not, but
I
I,
didn't.
only worked a half a day
so you took
because I took my son to the doctor.
There you
Okay.
go. So
That's
speaking
good.
of halftime and performances, Monique, you used to perform all around the valley as a singer. You used to
Yeah.
write songs and music.
Yeah.
Have you done that your whole life
I've sang since I was 3.
since you were 3?
I'm not super fantastic, but I'm pretty decent.
I think you're okay. I've heard you sing before.
I mean,
Not
okay.
gonna make you do it.
Thank
Kurt will be
you.
like, "Fuck, did not expect that tonight." He's over there shaking his head.
Well,
Let
and you
it
still
go, let it go.
you still
I
do
think
kind
so.
of perform.
I still do. I love karaoke.
Mhm.
It's actually how I met my lovely friend over here, CD.
Yep.
Yeah, I love karaoke, and my kids are super talented in that way. And I always wanted to be a professional singer
Mhm.
growing up. And literally, I did sing since I was 3. I've done demos. I have performed a ton of different places. I tried out for The Voice. Obviously, didn't make it, but I didn't really do it to make it. I just did it so I could check it off a box,
Yeah.
I guess.
What's that
'cause-
experience like? Going
oh,
like
God.
you waiting in line all day long? Do you have to meet a producer?
Okay,
Do
so...
you get to stand in front of the the celebrity judges?
Well, when you let me talk, I'll finish.
Just
But...
sorry.
He does that a lot.
It's a
Thank you for
loaded
It's
pointing
question.
out.
It's a very loaded
So
question.
yeah, so The Voice, you have to go through, I think, about 5 tryouts to actually get in front of the actual judges. The first tryouts are in different cities, and they're with like the producers of the show, and they're split into like 6 different groups. So they take like 10 people into one room with one producer, and they have you sing in front of these 10 people with the producer, and they're like, okay, you stay, you guys go. I went at 5:30 a.m. and stood in line at is it the event center or what?
The Maverick Center.
Maverick Center.
No, which was the Delta Center.
Energy
what,
Solutions.
Oh,
Delta
yeah.
Center.
whatever it is now.
Yep.
But I don't know. I don't go there
It's the
often.
Delta Center.
Yeah.
It's not my hangout, but I I had a couple beers in line and popped them real quick and drank them. And as I waited, because it's 5 a.m, perfect time to drink.
Mhm.
Also, super stressed out and tension moment, but there's hundreds of people and they have great voices. So I wasn't mad or sad or disappointed that I didn't make it anywhere because these people are super young and have great voices and could do a lot more than I probably ever could. I've never had voice lessons or any of that. So it was just a great experience. And everybody was really, really nice to each other and really encouraging everybody. It was really like a Full House moment in both ways, Full House and Full House moment.
Yep.
It was literally that. Would I do it again? No. But did I enjoy what I did? Absolutely. Would I ever pursue music at this point in my life? Probably not. I'm actually just satisfied with karaoke and Christmas parties and those small moments because I don't have to do anything that takes me away from the things that are most important, like these stars do.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I get to still live my life and still enjoy what I do and have a fun time doing those hobbies and using my talents without having to jeopardize anything else. Would money make things easier? Yeah, but I'm
You have to do
happy
that
and I'm good.
all the time.
And I get to do it all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever I want without anybody dictating it
Mhm.
or cameras or anything. So it's great. Yeah, talents are great.
Do you feel so? We've had someone else on this podcast that's tried out for The Voice. His name's Neil Middleton. He's the lead singer of Royal Bliss. I'm not sure if you're
I
familiar.
do know Royal Bliss.
Yeah.
I know the guitarist. I think I dated him.
I think I. Right.
Chris Harding.
So
Just name dropping that one.
he tried out for The Voice as well, and I think at some point, I know with American Idol, there's some kind of like age requirement, and you said now that you have lived and are living an enriched life, like you don't need that claim to fame or whatever. You have some beautiful children and
I'm famous to them.
and a good job. But do you feel like that's something that holds you back? Because I'm not saying that you're old. You're obviously very young looking and beautiful. But is that something that you think that's
No.
that might have?
No. No, I don't think that age is a thing. I mean, you look at who was just on The Voice recently.
'Cause
You have
we'll-
Wendy Moten, who's in her 50s, almost 60s, And I actually had her album before she came out. No, I don't think that the age is what holds me back. I think it's just life events. So life events are going to hold you back from things, not necessarily your age, but where do I want to be now? What's important to me now? As a 3-year-old kid, I'm just thinking of the spotlight because that's all I see. And like you see a star and that's like, oh, I want that. And then as a teenager, you're going through this awkward stage trying to fit in and be popular. And you're like, no, I want that attention. But as an adult that has kids, literally
Your priority changes. Yeah.
That's all I want. And they look at me like I am a star. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, like I said, I just love to do what I love to do without having to be in front of people who are going to judge every second of my life because my kids don't care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and for the voice, they only have a minimum age requirement.
Yeah, minimum 13.
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
So after how long did you wait in line for? Just out of curiosity.
Oh my gosh, I think it was so. I got there at 5:30. I left at 11:30.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would have brought some
11:30
fucking
at
beer
night?
too.
No, a.m.
Oh, okay.
But I was the third group. So I don't know how long everybody else did, but you had
Sure.
to get there super early. And I was in like almost the front of the line.
Mm-hmm.
So
Does it ever make you wonder how motherfucker like William Hung made it that far
no.
in front of that, in front of those celebrity? And that was obviously American Idol, but
Really? He's Asian, for one, and they're hilarious. And for two, they needed it's entertainment. So no, it doesn't make me wonder, like,
Honestly, like William Hung did a really good job at selling his brand.
he banged.
His brand of his music is like
Yeah.
what he sold, and good for fucking him. Like he did it, and he committed to it, and he went full send. And,
And
it
now he's
worked for
gone.
him.
actually he's not gone. I listened to a podcast, Radio Lab, which is a really good podcast put out by KNRP something whatever in
Like
New
I
York.
said, he's gone.
And they talked about flops, and they talked about flops of flopping in the NBA when LeBron James gets hit. They talked about flops of all sorts of different flops, and one of the flops, belly flops, how the fish that flopped across the sea and landed onto the earth, and then we got evolved to be human beings. And then they talked about the flop that is William Hung, and
Not a flop.
and well, no, he did put out some music albums that sold because, they're mostly entertaining. But William Hung, he was ridiculed and made fun of every time you hear his music. And he was on American Idol. People were just laughing and making fun of him like he was just this gigantic flop. But what he really felt the most hurt by was that after American Idol, he went on to try to be a math teacher, and he wasn't able to find success in being a teacher because of, for whatever reason, and that's what he felt more. He was more hurt by that than being made fun of, like, it's a whole new world. He wanted to help children learn how to do math.
Add,
And
divide.
Yeah, that's
and
why I say he's not a
they-
flop, because I think that he capitalized on a really
But
good
they
thing
shut
in
him
his
down.
life.
And
Well, yeah. I mean, with
He
fame
wasn't able to
comes
find-
sometimes misfortune, right?
he was able to find more success as being a joke on American Idol than he was trying to do something that he really wanted to do.
That's
That's
because
kinda-
our world sucks.
That's because our world is shit. Like
It does.
you can get famous and make money for the rest of your nights, your life, because you're that one guy that said, "These nuts," and then like he
But
might
to be good, like genuinely good,
right.
you're
It's
not
hard.
going to go anywhere.
It's fucking hard. Yeah.
It's hard. And I feel like that's where we just suck as people and humans, especially in this country. Do I love America? Yes. Do I think it sucks? Absolutely. Do I think that our continuous, I don't do politics, so don't take this as me doing politics, but I think that our presidential shit sucks. And the fact that we're so divided as a country that's supposed to be undivided speaks volumes for us. And I don't care who you vote for, what you do. And you can hate me and judge me for this, but I've never even registered to vote, and I never will. My choice, because it's rigged. It sucks. And I would rather just a comet come down and like kill us all at one time.
Or a volcano explode.
Or that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how grab Kurt a beer. It's crazy.
That's funny. Sorry.
Oh, we're trying. Oh,
Yeah, you're fine. Don't now that we're trying not to make Kurt's hand signals a big deal. We're at 30 minutes, so once the conversation,
It's
allows
crazy
us to.
that it takes a couple airplanes to fly into the buildings in New York for us to be united and divided. In 1984, Russia, during the Cold War, they said, we are going to infiltrate your country and your democracy and divide and conquer, and whether it's going to take a year or 30 years. And now I think we're kind of seeing that. And we do need people like you that are completely don't give a shit to basically keep people like me who give probably way too much shits to breathe in the fresh air and enjoy the smell of the flowers sometimes.
Yeah. And the way I look at it is, okay, I get that we have a president. I get that we have rules. I get that we have regulations. I get that there's laws. I understand that. And I've broken a few, maybe more than a few. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's about deciding what's important to you and how that person actually is going to affect that. And I know that there's things that they can affect, like taxes and things, but God, are they really paying my bills? No, they're taking from my bills because they're taking my taxes, and I have to pay a lot of taxes. And the more I make, I've got to pay them more to dictate my life. And I don't think that that's what this country should be built on, or any country. But also, again, first world problems that we have. I'm being taxed and I have all these things, but there's other countries that aren't being taxed the way that we are. And it's a whole bunch of shit. And honestly, it's probably my least favorite topic to talk about. And it's not because it makes me uncomfortable. It's because there's no end to it. It doesn't matter what we say, who says it, when we say it. It's never going to change.
It really is the ultimate, like, open-ended argument.
It is.
It will never change.
It's never going to change. It's a fucking monopoly on everything. And I don't judge anyone that cares. I don't judge anyone that doesn't care. Same as vaccines, non-vaccines. Do you, and let me do me. Because at the end of the day, what I do is literally not affecting your bills or your life.
Right.
Not a goddamn thing. And vice versa.
We don't need to go down this
And
road.
no, we're not.
But you're bringing up something that we've said on the show a number of times before, which is like, how toxic is social media? Because now you're looking on your phone at some other people's shit that they're posting, getting mad about it, then it's affecting your life because you're mad now. But really, at the end of the day, none of that shit matters.
And that's what I tell my kids. I'm like, okay, so you might get bullied at school, or someone might say something to you. And I had a guy ask me the other night, he's like, why are you so nice? I'm like, well, I haven't always been. Like, I was a bitch and made my mom cry when I was in my teens. I'm like, why wouldn't I be? What's the harm in me being nice? What is the harm in that? I'm going to live a better life being nice because I don't want my inbox to be full when I freaking die. But also, and he's like, well, why do you care about what people think? And I'm like, I really don't care about what they think. I care about what effect I had on them and what improvement I could have made. So I tell my kids, you are in control of your emotions. Only you can control them. So if you're upset, that's your fault. No one else's fault but yours. And I get sometimes it's hard because we're humans and we're built in this emotional way, especially when we're drinking or smoking or whatever. We get more and more emotional, and I am 100% to blame on that one, on myself. But we get so lost in other people's shit, especially with social media. They're envious and like, oh, they're on vacations. I'm not going to like that because I'm jealous. But God, just be happy for people. Build them up.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is sometimes you always want to put on your best face. Like, oh, well, I am going on vacation, or I am doing this one thing, or I am eating this really good meal, or going to this good restaurant, or I'm super happy with my friends doing this activity. And then the other 6 days out of the week, you're a miserable old fuck, you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love the fake stuff. And then it's funny because I'm not going to call anybody out because I do that enough in my book, but. And no one's names are in there, but they're definitely called out. And if they know my life, they're going to know that it's them. But I know people so personally, and then I see their social media, and I'm like, well, that's a fucking lie.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Like, and I post real shit. Like, I don't filter. I hate the filters. I hate the filters. Like, if you have to filter yourself to be a fucking cartoon character, and that's what it looks like, especially mostly females, but the guys are starting to do it too. Go find a therapist. Please. Find someone.
I don't even know what motherfuckers look like these days.
I don't either. Like, I meet someone in person and I'm like, oh, wow.
Don't have a dog nose.
No. I'm like, that is crazy. And I've got a friend that filters so much, and I've actually told this person to their face, I'm like, can you just be real for a minute? Like, and it's okay if you want lashes, if you want to enhance things. Like, I have breast implants. I've done a tummy tuck. I've done things to myself that make myself happy, but I don't put it out there where you're not going to see the real me when you actually meet me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's simple.
I almost take it like, or at least in my opinion, I see this stuff on Facebook where everybody's like, oh, I'm doing this now, and they're in their happy moment. It's kind of like the Yelp review effect where you only leave like the good and the bad, or you leave the bad
reviews.
Yeah, and the Yelp. But on Facebook, it's always good stuff. But I almost respect somebody more if they're genuine and they're like, no, I'm having a really shit day today, and I don't know what to do about it. Then I'm like, all right, we can work with this. Like, you're having a shit day. How do we fix it? As opposed to like, oh, my day was so much better than yours. Okay, I don't give a fuck.
Most of my days genuinely suck. I mean, I love my job. I love my kids, and I have great kids. And honestly, I cannot complain about my kids other than the fact that they're lazy. I have an almost 19-year-old son who doesn't have a job. But like, I have bad days, and people look at me that know me and they're like, oh, your life is great. You make great money. You've got this, you've got that. I'm like, but you know what? It's not all
still
fucking
hard.
cherry pie and ice cream. It's hard. And I grew up with a shitty ass life and not great parenting and teaching or anything, but I still keep going and try to be positive. And sometimes I can't be positive. Sometimes I cannot do enough to make myself feel like it was enough.
Right.
Monique, you mentioned a book that you're writing, and I want to get into that some more. And you're, you just took a really deep breath there, and it's like, oh, shit. But before we do that, I think we need to talk about something that makes us happy, and that's our friends over at Salt Flats. They help make this podcast possible. They help support this this podcast and this community, and we hope you guys check them out. You can find them at 2020 West Industrial Circle. And Monique, you have had one of the beers that
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's flat out. It's a Hefeweizen ale, and it's a wheat beer because I love wheat beer because I don't like the hops and all of that. It's really, really, really good, and it's actually pretty light. So I love this, and I would totally buy it.
You can find their beers at the liquor store. You can find them at the grocery store. You can find them at the brewery. You can find them at your favorite restaurants and your favorite bars. You can find them on tap. You can find them in the can. Yeah,
I'm going to have another one right now.
All right.
It's great. It is really, really good. I finished that one, and I like it.
It's good.
It's really good.
It's different than other hefts in the sense that I don't know, there's just different notes to it. It's not like your traditional heft that you expect from.
It's almost
this flat out, is flat out. No pun on words. But it was really good. And
We unfortunately do not have another cold flat out.
You know what? That's really sad. I'll take a warm.
All right.
Okay,
Well, I think we
let's
can
go.
probably do
I'll
one.
grab you one.
Yeah. And we'll probably send you home with a little 6-pack of that to try. And we hope you guys go pick up your own little 6-pack. And also, Salt Flats makes some delicious craft cocktails and award-winning spirits. You can find those at the state liquor store. If you don't see them on the shelf, please ask the manager at your local liquor store. Say, hey, I need this Bonneville bourbon. I need this GT gin. I'd like to try this 622 vodka or the Parabolica rum. And so we hope you guys check them out. They've supported the podcast and the community for a very long time. And yes, they're the best. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. We had a really good flow going, but you were talking about your book. And
Let's go back a little bit.
oh, sure.
I mean, you've been very open with us tonight, and we asked you before the show, is there anything you don't want to talk about? And you said, literally, no, I'm an open book. And then proceeded to tell me that you're writing a book, which is about your life, it sounds like.
It's not like so like self-centered when you do that.
Okay, fair.
I don't think so.
But it's not, I don't think it's self-centered, because
I think
really
actually
wanna
writing a book can be very therapeutic, too.
Depends on what you're writing about, I guess.
I want to start with, like, what moment made you realize that you want to write a book about your life?
Okay, so it wasn't me
Okay.
who made me realize I want to write a book about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone follows me, they see my posts, and a lot of my posts, I'll have a picture on there of myself, which is super self-absorbing. And yeah, I've put pictures on there because I think I look like I have a great hair day or great makeup day or whatever. And
You do have some pretty good hair days sometimes.
thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't always, and I was kind of an ugly duckling and bullied, and I've really never loved what I looked like until I loved myself. So I'll put a picture on there because, as we know, if you don't put a picture, not a lot of people actually look at it.
Yeah.
So I started putting some posts on my Instagram and my Facebook about my life, about real moments in my life that were very, very personal, very intimate, very sad and somewhat disturbing, but so inward. And I would talk to people about relationships, and mind you, I've been married and divorced 3 times, so I am not a professional about it.
Sure.
But they were like, you really need to write a book. And I was like, why? And I've had a lot of people say, well, you should be a motivational speaker. Also, cool, didn't think that, but I've had it said to me over and over again. So I just said, okay, you know what? I'm going to write a book. And so what made me do it is I took a look back at those posts, and I was like, okay, they're very vulnerable. They're very open. All right. So the first 14 chapters, which I'm done with, is literally every post that I put on Instagram.
Okay.
But so it says post 1, whatever it is. And it says, let's get into it. So I actually let CD read the intro to my book the other night. And it's a backwards book. So a lot of people, it's a memoir, I guess, in a way, but it's called No Sugarcoating. But it starts backwards. So it starts as an adult, and it's going to work its way back to childhood. So I post a post in the book, and then I tell why I posted that post and what I was feeling. And so I got stuck at chapter 14 because that was after all of my posts, and now I'm getting into like the nitty gritty. And I did have a moment, and this is super, super open and super vulnerable for me to say this, but chapter 6 had me super stuck. I had COVID. It was over Thanksgiving in 2020. I was by myself, and I had been drinking. And when you're doing self-reflection and it's not great, and you're drinking, and you're alone, and you have COVID, I had a moment where I was holding a hand of pills and a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And the only thing that kept me going was my kids' pictures and a guy that came over to rescue me, basically, I'm crying on the kitchen floor. But when you do those self-reflection books and when you dive that deep, it's very hard. So I got stuck on chapter 14 because I'm coming off the posts now. And I'm about to dive into like the real
You got to get down to work. This is where the work starts.
This is where the work starts because that was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was hard.
Yeah.
But this is where it really comes down to, okay, I'm about to call every motherfucker out in my life that either screwed me or I screwed up because I had blame. And they're not going to know by name. No one's going to know by name, but I don't even know if this book is going to go anywhere. But it's more of a self-help book because I feel like everything that's in there, someone has gone through one of those events.
Yeah.
And didn't know how to get through it. And I would say I had a lot to get through and go through and didn't have the greatest thing, but we talked about this earlier. I'm not going to hold a grudge. I'm not going to be sad about it. I'm not going to be bitter and heartbroken. I'm going to make tomorrow a better day and say, okay, I learned a lesson. Maybe you can too. I don't know. So I don't know where it's going to go, but it's going to be great.
The best part about that whole thing you just explained is that you're doing it it's selfless in a way, but it's so much revealing about yourself.
Yeah.
So you're putting yourself out there in your most vulnerable moment in the hopes that like somebody might read this and be like, oh, I'm not alone. And I can fucking do this.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna say
literally
the
my point.
Mhm.
It's literally that, because the reason why I wrote the book is because so many people were relating to my posts that I was posting. They're like, you should write a book. I didn't. You're so inspirational. If I disappear from social media, they're like, I'm so glad you're back. You really inspire me. You motivate me. And I'm like, I didn't know I had that effect on people.
Yeah.
And so knowing that I did, I'm hoping that they can read this. I don't need to get rich. I don't need a bestseller. I just want to help someone that was in the same situation that I've been in and come out of it in a better light.
Yeah.
So this beer right here that this coaster is sitting on, this was made by a woman by the name of Amy Bingaman. And have you ever heard of Amy Bingaman?
Not until you told me about her tonight.
Yep. And so Amy Bingaman made this coaster right here. It's a stupid looking, really off-colored doily, but
It's a flower, y'all.
I bought her book, and she made, not for me personally, but because I bought her book, she sent this to me when I purchased it, and she did the same thing about her story of her putting out, being vulnerable and having, going through a hard time. And her story was basically going into a mental hospital in Wyoming, and how her struggle of being like, I'm not crazy, I shouldn't be here, but then wait a minute, am I crazy? But it was
We're all
really
crazy.
Yeah.
exactly. But just reading the book made me realize, like, yeah, there's other people out there that kind of feel trapped or are feeling these feelings, and I think it's people like you and Amy Bingaman that make it easier for the rest of us to realize that life is kind of hard sometimes.
No, it's hard all the time. It's hard all the time. And it gets harder every day, every year, every bill, every second, every child, every relationship, every heartbreak, all the time. It does. And I can't stand seeing how much fake there is.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
within my own friends,
Mm-hmm.
I see the fake and I'm like, you are absolutely fucking miserable.
I mean, there's a difference between feeling depressed or maybe you're having a rough day and putting on a face to like
Yeah.
be with your friends or whatever. And there's a total separate difference to being like, I want to be better than other people.
My life
and
is
I,
perfect.
yeah, like look how good I'm doing.
We're doing all of these things, but they're probably cheating on their husband or being cheated
some
on
shit
or
going on.
whatever else. There's a ton of things that happen and no one recognizes it. No one owns
Talks about
it. No
Or
one
yeah.
owns it.
Yeah.
Like, have I been a homewrecker before? Absolutely. Did I do that? Did I cheat? Yes. And you know what? Was it stupid? Was it selfish? Did it suck? And was it hurtful? Absolutely. But guess what? I'm a human being.
Yeah.
And it's okay because I'm going to do better tomorrow than I did today. And that's all you have to do is just become better. And people are just so salty and stupid. And I can't stand people. This is why I order groceries online, the same as you, because
Yep.
I hate them.
Yeah.
But I don't hate them.
I don't hate them either. I hate the fact that like people, I feel like most people can be so much better than they let themselves believe. And it drives me insane.
It's because we've put this whole thing, not us personally, but the world, and especially America, and especially social media. We've put this whole, it's almost like a shield. It's like, this is the way that you need to live. And if you don't live this way, you're not cool. So it's like high school on like a worldly level.
Mm-hmm.
But I think another problem too, speaking of the social media, is you get your serotonin drops and these feelings of all these likes and people, they commented on this post or whatever. But then also at the same time, you get that same serotonin, that same feeling for when you're being negative too, and you got all these engagements and you're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, you're right, I am, fuck you, and fuck the world. And so that's kind of, I think, the problem with social media, and I am 100% the poster child of that person. Like,
The negative side?
well, I
You
want
do
to,
both sides.
I don't want to say that I purposely try to be negative, but there's some times that some of the things that I put on social media, I have to take them down sometimes because I get more comments on me. I put up a post about Bob Saget tested positive for COVID, and that's basically how people think that's how he died, or that's how he's being treated as a COVID death, even though he had major head trauma. And there's so many people that were like, no, you're wrong, and all these different engagements, and it was like, ugh. But nobody wants to comment about how cute my puppy is, or this accomplishment, or I just had 4 years of not smoking, or just did 4 years of podcasts, like these actual real legitimate things. So I think, again, I need, and I hope all of you guys and our listeners and you, Monique, as well, keep me in check, because I'm one of those people, and I think we need to concentrate, or at least realize that social media is giving us this sense of accomplishment or negative accomplishment,
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
I almost think it's more important to, and that's a horrible thing. Like, that's why I don't have any presence on social media. We have Larry, God bless his heart, who does that for us for the podcast.
Shout out to Larry Gonzalez.
Because I don't want to do it. I get sick of that. But I think what bugs me the most is, like, people get so caught up in what they think they should be doing, and then they forget the fact that we're all doing the same fucking thing. We're all just trying to fucking live and make it another day.
Yeah. And I don't do what you do at all, CD. Like, I don't do the negative. I don't post.
I don't really try to be negative. Sometimes I just think I'm a
don't
know-it-all.
And I know nothing.
CD knows it all. I'm glad you two met tonight. He can
I know
tell you how
nothing.
everything works.
No, I mean,
Like, I know some things. Like, I know what my kids tell me that they know. When my son's like, "Did you know about Mars and this and how many plants can fit in here?" And I know, but I know nothing. I know nothing.
I think what I'm basically trying to say is that sometimes there's this super popular opinion about politics or vaccines or Black Lives Matter or
I have to interrupt you. Can you just say I know nothing?
Sure. Yeah. I guess.
Say it.
Yeah, I know nothing.
Because none of us know anything.
Right?
But that's my flaw, is that I think I do know everything.
But we know nothing.
So, that being said, I think we could all look into ourselves and at least recognize that. And I feel like I am guilty of it, that social media is that harbinger of a lot of real negative interaction. And it takes things like this, where we're listening to a podcast, or our sound engineer, Kurt, over here, is like, make sure that when you guys are talking to each other, you're looking into each other's eyes, because this is how we know that we're having a genuine reaction or conversation.
Right.
I often challenge some of the people that I disagree with, and for whatever reason that we're getting an argument in the first place, or a disagreement, I say, why don't you come and, like, why don't we go get coffee, or why don't you come on the podcast, or why don't we actually talk about this in person instead of just typing and doing everything on an email or a fucking social media or a post,
Feelings aren't real anymore, CJ. No one
Yeah.
knows how to express them without typing it with that emoji.
Yeah, like you
It's
said,
true.
hey, how are you doing today? But you didn't put a winky face, so now I think you're being sarcastic.
Yeah, and if I capitalize everything, I'm yelling at you.
Yeah, why would you do that? That's so
But I think
aggressive.
Rude.
I think that's where
That's where we've gone.
Mhm.
I know,
It's where we've gone.
but
like,
that's where I kind of feel
sucks.
like the emoji, I hate admitting this, but I feel like that might actually save something that might
It does.
rather be lost in translation, because
does.
even though I'm talking in all caps, doesn't really mean I'm all mad at you. I'm just trying to put the point across.
People are reading emotions now.
I
instead
fucking
of-
hate the thumbs up
feeling
emoji.
them.
It's the worst
It
emoji.
is. Oh my gosh, I'm 100% on your side. I
Thank
feel like
you.
you know what? You're a dick.
Yeah,
They're like thumbs up. I'm like,
yeah. It's the, right?
I want to give the finger emoji on that one. I'm like,
yeah, like thumbs up. Like, hey,
Isn't
just
it
so
like
you know,
sarcastic placation or something?
It's
no,
the
it's like
worst.
imagine if like I text you and I was like, "Yo, CD, like I'm at Arby's right now. I know I'm going to your house. You want something to eat?" And then you said, "Yeah, man, like get me 2 beef and cheddars," and gave me the thumbs up. You'd never do that in real life. You'd never be like 2 beef and
Hey.
cheddars, thumbs up, buddy.
give me a
I'd be
high
like,
five.
Fuck you.
What's
The
that
proper
from?
term is thank you, not thumbs up.
Mm.
Yeah, I got it.
What about something like, hey, does this work for you?
No.
And then a thumbs up.
No.
no.
Like, hey, let's meet here at this time.
Really gives thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Unless you're Will Ferrell on freaking Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
No,
The
no one
thumbs up
gives
is
a
the word.
thumbs up.
What
real
emojis
life.
do you guys hate?
I also
Chaz?
don't do this one.
Oh, the Jazz has
I
one.
also don't do. And
The cover
honestly, we really don't do any emojis, but emojis.
Oh, new business idea.
Emojis. That's what they should be called, because they're emojis. But no one does it in real life. But people do it to save the conversation because we know that person's going to be like, "You were totally."
Just
being
gave Kurt a
upset.
thumbs up emoji.
The one that drives me nuts is
The
not
one
an
time I do
emoji, but the one that drives me nuts is LOL. Because
Yeah, but you have to have at least one emoji that drives you insane. Like, I hate when people say like a normal statement, but then they
Okay.
use the overly laughing emoji.
the
Wasn't that funny?
I know what
You're not
CDs is.
crying and then laughing.
I know what CDs is, and it's only comes from those iPhone users.
Oh, but that's not
I'm
an
also
emoji.
not an iPhone user.
I know what
When
you're
s-
gonna say, but it's not an emoji.
When they get the liked or
Yeah.
I
That's not-
can't stand that
I
because
can't
I
stand
am
it.
also not an iPhone user, but also that is so unpersonal.
Yeah,
It's
I like your
impersonal,
comment.
unpersonal. I liked that. I loved that. I laughed at that. I emphasized that.
I mean, it does give you
It drives me fucking up
the
the wall.
satisfaction that they read your shit, but like, also don't like Apple. Whoever did that at Apple is like out of their mind
They're
because
like-
they're like, we know Android users are never gonna be able to see the little heart there.
And we never want to have a
it
conversation
comes
with
across
But
them.
as a-
instead, we'll just send them a text message. Who the fuck made that decision?
I'm going to send them a text message of their text message and say, hey, I liked it.
And not-
Also,
I do that to CD.
not going to have a conversation.
Okay, so I have an iPhone, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank
Great.
God, Kurt.
Thank
That's because you're one of the
God,
good
Kurt.
people.
Yeah.
You are a soul to be saved.
It's
Yes.
the thing that drives me nuts is it comes across as a whole nother text message. So if you
of
if-
your text message.
exactly, so if you liked that I said this,
Why does it have to
basically
be
it's
the
saying
whole-
that hey, I like that you just said this. Why would you just say, right on, bruv, or cool, see you at 7:00?
Why does it have to reply with your whole message? Your whole message in the
Because
entirety.
no one has time for conversation anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
No one cares to have time for conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's also why we have Snapchat and we got filters. We're like, hey, bitch, let's have this conversation because it's too much to text and I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to call you.
And I just grew antlers last night.
And did you see what was on Netflix? Yeah. That's our life. That's our
Yeah.
world.
It's
And
on
it's just going to
HBO
be
Max,
worse
actually.
and worse.
But I think going full circle here, I think it's very brave of you to write a book about your life and the experiences you've been through in order to like that pushes forward the agenda of like we all are still doing the same thing and there's a bunch of other stuff that happens in life other than just that.
Yeah, it's scary.
Like, life is still life.
It's scary. It sucks.
And that's why I think things like this, why podcasts are important, and actually getting information or opinions from people and actually hearing what they have to say and hearing what they're going through and your life story and reading a book and not just getting in a fucking TikTok argument with North Omaha cat lady because I didn't think that I liked the person that you voted for, the person I voted for.
I think the last thing I'm going to say is I don't know how to do TikTok.
I don't know either, and CD is all. That's what he
CD just
literally. CD earlier tonight was like, "Oh, yo, I found this recipe. It's sick. You guys got to hear about it.
I remember.
It's a jalapeno popper wrapped in a chicken
wing.
I'm like, that had to be 100% off TikTok because
It's a chicken wing wrapped around a jalapeno popper, actually. But yeah.
It's a horrible idea.
it's
is
a
what it
fucking
actually
TikTok
is.
recipe that somebody's like, I bet I'll get some views off this shit. Nobody's ever gonna actually do that,
No.
ever.
No.
Dude, I get recipes on TikTok all the time
Okay.
that you
Yeah,
get.
I mean, we're.
No
I would like to get into actual food conversation with you, but we're gonna go down the TikTok path.
There's nothing. It's a video. What's wrong with you watching a video, whether it's on YouTube or your favorite cooking vlog?
You know what? I'm going to create a YouTube and I'm going to invite you guys on it.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
yeah, I'm
We'd
down.
love to come on.
Can we make
Food.
bacon or like chicken wing wrapped jalapeno poppers? on
No,
that?
absolutely not.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. I love
when-
you, CD, though.
I know. And you can make fun of me all you want. I know it's a stupid thing because I think
It's not stupid. It's you like it. It's cool. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's
It's just not
fine.
what I'm ever going to do, but it's
I know.
fine that you like it.
I know, and I'm not trying to defend it. I probably spend way too much time on it anyway. But one thing that Wade always says is that whenever we have a guest on our show, that we always have to have them back. And I think that's a missed opportunity that we had tonight, is talking some more about food.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's either have you back on, or let's have, start
what?
your YouTube channel, and we'll fucking
I'm
do
not
some
going to start a
cooking.
YouTube channel, but I actually have one, and I'm just singing, and I don't want to even talk about that. And I only had to do that for the voice. So I would happily come back anytime, and we can do a whole food discussion, and I will give away one of my recipes.
Uh-oh.
One.
Teaser.
Awesome.
I don't ever give out my recipes.
Don't do it then.
We Cooked Wednesdays and our Messin with Mormons Facebook and Instagram page, where we kind of talked, or where we did you and Laura did a awesome lasagna the other night.
Yeah, but we can bring that up all later. Or are you asking me now? Sorry, I just
No, I got to go to
Jesus
bed.
Christ.
So I was distracted with the fact that the computer was about to take a shit. Kurt pointed it out to me, so I'm scared now. But yeah, live stream last night for the first time ever.
We did our first live stream. Well, we've done live streams before with
Like
the
this
podcast.
was scheduled, it was a deal.
So yeah, go to either our Facebook page or the We Cook Wednesday Instagram.
Yeah,
Check it out.
check it out.
We
Wait,
Cook
I want to
Wednesdays.
be on a We Cook Wednesday.
Would you love to come to one of the nights where we do everything from scratch and live stream it?
That's the only way I cook.
All right, fair. You're on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Wade
Okay,
made
I'll
fresh
invite you.
pasta. Laura made like her secret Italian family
I
recipe.
would love to do
secret
it.
sauce.
You're more than invited. It'll be awesome.
It was the best lasagna, and I know it's kind of a lot to watch, but you don't have to go through the whole thing. You can basically skip to the good parts and see that, wow, this
It's
is
like
where they
porn. I know. You can skip to the good part.
I did give away my recipe that at the beginning of was it last year or the beginning of last year, I perfected pasta by doing it every Wednesday and just weighing everything out. So I did give away the recipe that I created, and you guys can follow it. It's fine.
Super.
Yeah, I feel like our Facebook has been a little shadow banned lately, so we need to have a little more love. So go check out our.
We just got unshadow banned.
I know. So we need some more love on there. Mess with Mormons on Facebook, Instagram, and if you ever want to get something off your chest, call us at 801-252-6069. Monique, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Do you have any last words or anecdotes for our audience?
I do. Suck it, because that's life.
Hell yeah. No Mormons were harmed in making this podcast.
Hell yeah. Did such a good job. I have to pee so bad.
Thank you.
Did you have fun?
I had so much
Okay,
fun.
good.
I loved it so much.
It doesn't smell too much like guys in here.
I don't smell any guys.
It's going to smell like lasagna.
No. That was really great. I loved it.